Hey, welcome to another MTL Meet Up. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it from my heart to yours. Now, I'm going to be referencing a few talks that I've definitely done in the past, but hang in there because this one is new and different. All right. Now, for the safety of myself, my family, for all of humanity, I've been hunkered down and I've taken the past year pretty seriously. And I've also suffered some mental blows because of it. There's definitely a mental strain and some toughness about like being limited in connectivity and in relationship with others. So I've definitely been in that place. And at the insistence of my therapist, my sister, and my wife, I've been venturing out a little bit more. And I'm honestly eager to do so, but a bit anxious. I'm not going to lie. So I've set up some different appointments, some different meetings, had some conversations. I've went running a lot more. I've passed people walking and who were out with their dogs and had conversations. I've gone to dealerships for recalls on cars and all kinds of things. Now, one of the stories that I do want to share with you, I was out running and I passed a guy who was in a ditch and not on a very well-traveled road. And I saw him and I was like, dude, do you need help? And I can run back up to my house just as easy as I was going to run past you for like a half hour, 45 minutes. And I can grab a shovel and we can, get to work on your car. And he was like, yeah, that would be great. And I was like, honestly, it's awesome. Thank you. Like, I'm going to do this. And if I get back, by the way, and you're out of the ditch and gone, no problem. You don't have to hang out. So went back up, got my car, got my masks, and came back down with some shovels, and we dug him out of the ditch quite successfully over the next half hour. It was really cool. And I just told him, I said, in a time when it feels like I don't know how to help many people, it's pretty awesome to see someone in need and know exactly what they need and know that I can do it and I can step up and I can make that happen. Because a lot of times in the past year, I've felt pretty powerless, and I want to talk about that because I do believe that we possess some power. There's this phrase that I get hung up on and kind of stuck in sometimes, and I don't like it. And it's when people say that's the way the world works, and it implies this powerlessness. When I believe that we have this creativity and this potential, this divine spirit that allows us, right, to determine the way the world works, to change up the landscape and to chart a different course, So anyway, I've had some conversations with some people that weren't that fun. I've seen other people be treated in ways that I just thought were demeaning. I was running the other day and I almost felt like a car kind of swerved closer to me, even though there was plenty of room, in the road, no other cars or anything. But because I was running on the road, maybe not where they thought I should be running, they actually got as close to me as possible. And what a bummer. I don't know. I went to a dealership where typically I'm a little bit more on edge anyway. And I'm getting the car worked on. And there was this person there who just completely disarmed me, with their words and their attitude and their perspective. And I was so thankful for that. Coming out of this and venturing out and being more in relationship and more in connection and more interaction with people again, I'm hoping there's this level of civility and basic decency. And not only that, but beyond even that is what I'm kind of hoping for. One of my talks that I did a while ago, I did reference the fact that they did a study and I was reading these statistics on if you just possessed common courtesy now and you were saying things like please and thank you and you were making eye contact and you were holding doors open for people, that people honestly believed you were hitting on them just because you were demonstrating and expressing that kind of basic level of common courtesy. And that to me suggested whoa, the bar has been shifted. We expect a lot less of one another. And I hope that through all of this, that we know ourselves a little bit better and we understand that we need this interaction. We need this basic human compassion because it does something for us. All of us. I believe that we've got to be for one another. That's a reference to an old podcast too. That we need to have each other's back. That we need to build and establish a kind of trust with one another and treat one another with dignity and courtesy and gently and kindly and lovingly. You know, I live in a pretty touristy town, and we actually, allocate money to have like little tractors come along and plow the sidewalks because there's snow a lot, and we want people to use the sidewalks. So if you want people to use the sidewalks, they can't just be plowed over and crazy. You actually need to plow the sidewalks as well. So that happens a lot. And I'll be driving down the road and I'll see people walking in the road. And I just immediately think less of them, bad of them. I'm being honest here, okay? Bare in my soul. I'll look to see the sidewalk and see, is the sidewalk plowed? If the sidewalk is plowed, why aren't they on the sidewalk? Can't people, And if the sidewalk isn't plowed, I'm like, well, of course, they need to walk in the road. But how interesting and telling is it of me when the place that I begin with those people is a place where I think less of them or not fondly of them, that I start in that place. I don't know, I want to encourage you to give other people the benefit of the doubt. I believe we all possess that kind of divine spirit. I believe that it's rooted in us, that it's central to us, and it grounds us. And the more we exercise it, express it, and use it, and begin in that place, then the stronger that will become, just like a muscle. There are these verses that come from the Bible that talk about that we'll know that people are operating out of that spirit and living in touch with that spirit when we see their love, right? And then they go on to describe even what they call in the Bible fruits of the spirit. You'll know when people are grounded and living that kind of a path when you see these things come out of their person, right? Out of their behavior, out of their words, out of their motives, out of who it is they are. And it's things like gentleness, kindness, love, self-control, patience. All of these types of things are what we're looking for. The other day, I have my oldest son works at Starbucks, and a friend went into Starbucks who hasn't seen my son in a long time and immediately called me after going into Starbucks because they had this interaction and he didn't know who my son was, but my son knew who he was. And so my son called him on it. And then the guy was like, what? Who? And then they had this whole long conversation about what he's doing and what he's going to do next year because he's a senior and he's looking at maybe doing school or taking a year off. Who knows? But he called me afterwards and he said, Phil, it was unbelievable. Once he made the connection and told me who he was and I talked with him, it was like looking at a version of you, the way he talked and laughed and the way he held himself. And I saw so much of you in your son. Sounds like, walks like, talks like, acts like. Whew. We give ourselves away a lot. And one of the things that I'm hoping for coming out of this and venturing back out as we connect with one another again is that idea of love. I'm hoping, and I would encourage you to give other people continually over and over and over again the benefit of the doubt, that you start and begin there because it changes everything. And it's not just for them, it's for you. It's for me, it's for all of us, that we operate from that place of being grounded, that place of human dignity, that place of basic civility and common courtesy and love. A lot of times in marriage and in close relationships, you can tell when people are operating from that place, giving each other the benefit of the doubt. And often how many times that just fixes so much and allows for so much else to take place that is of value and of worth in that relationship. And so I'm still working on this, and I think I mentioned this before, but I'm making some stickers that say, "You are good for my mental health." And I'm hopefully going to order those this week. And I'll, of course, make another video about when we've got them and show them to you. And if you want them, and like how I can send them to you or get them into your hands, and you can give them to other people. But the idea behind that is give each other the benefit of the doubt. We are good for one another. This connection, these relationships, even when they're quick, like at the dealership, when that woman like disarmed me with her perspective and her words and her posture, right? And like, yes, stop and help people when they're stuck in a ditch. But man, just like me driving down the road and seeing those people walk, that I begin from that place that says, oh, they're walking on the road. I'm going to go around them. I'm going to be a little safe. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, right? And that's good for me. That's good for them. That's good for all of us. And I want more and more to live in touch and in tune with that kind of spirit. With that kind of spirit. I want to operate out of that towards you, my fellow brothers and sisters, this big family. If we can begin from that place. So hopefully that sticker can remind you to start there, to genuinely begin at that place, to give the benefit of the doubt to all of those you encounter. All right? Thanks for tuning in to the MTL Meetup. We will see you soon.